So good, so good, so good.
Ready to rack to school and save big? Get to your Nordstrom Rack store today for thousands of deals from just $20.
Because I want to look fresh.
How did I not know Rack has Adidas?
I got a new backpack.
Score everyone's favorite denim, sneakers, boots, and activewear from Nike, Levi's, Steve Madden, Madewell, and Free People. Great brands, great prices. Everyone's got a reason to rack. Shop Nordstrom Rack and make it the best school year ever.
This Friday, Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan are back to switch things up in Disney's Freakier Friday.
Totally, yes.
It's an absolute riot, and the only movie that can be described as
So much weirder than the last time. What last time?
it's the frequel
You ready?
we've been waiting for.
That absolutely slays.
What deeply out of touch old person came up with that?
You did.
Wow.
Don't miss the comedy event of the summer for all ages. Disney's Freakier Friday, in theaters this Friday. Get tickets now. Rated PG. Parental guidance suggested.
This episode is brought to you by the world's first reposado from Tequila Herradura. Made with slow-cooked, hand-harvested agave sealed into oak barrels and aged 11 months. Before being enjoyed in your glass. Experience the world's first reposado. Tequila Herradura. Please drink responsibly. Responsibility.org. Tequila Herradura. 40% alcohol by volume. Imported by Brown-Forman, Louisville, Kentucky. Herradura is a registered trademark. Copyright 2025 Brown-Forman Corporation.
Pie in the Sky Media. This series contains adult language and descriptions of graphic violence throughout. Listener discretion is advised.
All right, I'm glad you stopped dancing. Okay.
I wanted to start again.
No.
Now,
Nope,
you
we're
up.
good. We're good. We're recording now.
Okay.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. Hello. Criminal
Hello.
Mischief Nation. Welcome back to another bonus episode. I'm your co-host, Brandon. I'm here as always with the great Carolyn Osorio, who has again blessed us with her magnificence. Hello, Carolyn.
Hello.
How was your week?
Good. I've been using your trick, your V.
Oh, isn't that
V.
great?
Yeah, I think we should share it. I mean, here's the thing. I love the spirit behind it because I'm so much like that where it's like, I have my little notes that I have like, go for it, you can do it on my computer. And
I just unstuck this one off of my computer. Read it out loud.
How you do anything is how you do everything. Yes. Like on my refrigerator for my kids and for me to see, and obviously everybody in the family, is something to the effect of like 3 things to fail, which is blame others. And I can't remember what the other 2 are, but I think I love that. So now Brandon, before we had a meeting, he's like, okay, I want you to do this.
Here's the story. Here's the story about it. My former and sometimes current writing partner and one of my best friends is this really wonderful writer and filmmaker named Tony Giglio. And I've known him, since 2006 was when we met. He was directing a movie that he cast me in, and we became fast friends. And then we became writing partners, and we had a project, the first project that we had that we were pitching everywhere. And I like reading a lot. Okay, I'm a dilettante. I have no formal education at all. I'm just a loudmouth who has read a lot of books. Like, that's it. Okay, but you pick up some interesting stuff. Okay, and I was really into biology for a long time, and I was just reading a lot about animal behavior and animals in the animal kingdom, and one of the traits that goes across all of the great apes, okay, basically, is putting your hands in the air above your head, either to show dominance or in a show of victory, a celebration. Like, imagine a marathoner crossing the finish line, right? Or a football player when he scores a touchdown, baseball player when he hits a home run, arms in the air. When you win a swimming match, boom, goal, a soccer. It's everywhere. And then you see that in the animal kingdom as well. And so testing
I'm going to do that right now because I want to dominate.
Okay. And testing was done on this, and it's very, very simple.
Mm-hmm.
We are evolutionarily inclined to, it's become part of our makeup in our DNA, that when this happens, when my hands are above my head right now in the victory formation, our mind thinks, oh, we must have just won something or done something great. And so it releases these hormones that it releases testosterone, it releases hormones of that make you feel good, that make you feel powerful, that make you feel confident, that make you feel all of that. And so you can reverse engineer that feeling because we're evolutionarily predisposed that that's what happens when your arms are in the air. And so studies show that if you hold your arms in the air like that for 3 minutes before a big event, that it's your levels of fucking awesomeness just rise. Okay. So when we started pitching the show around, me and Tony, I told him about this, and he's like, dude, we're doing that every time. Every time before every pitch. Before practice pitches, when we were on the lot, we'd park right next to each other, and we'd get out, and we'd just start talking through the pitch, and we'd both have our arms in the air, right? Like you were just talking about like what happened over the weekend with our arms in the air. But by the time you get up in the elevator ride, sometimes we were still doing it in the elevator. People are looking at us all weird, but it got to the point where it didn't matter. This is all pre-COVID, where you're pitching in person everywhere. So we were all over town. We wind up selling the show, which was great. And so we'd have our arms in the air before going into the writer's room every day, before meetings with the executives, like all of that. And so it's become a habit.
Well, I'm so happy that you shared that with me, and I
Yeah.
loved it. I mean, I just felt like, any tool in my toolbox, man,
That's right.
I am.
That's right.
I am.
Arms in the air.
Mhm.
Find 3 minutes before a meeting, before a job interview, before public speaking engagement, before you have to talk to your kids about something crazy, or just anything.
Mhm.
It just
Mhm.
it
It's good
helps.
stuff.
And
It's
it
good
gets to
stuff.
the point where psychologically, when you have your arms in the air, you're in a state of expectation. And so you start acting as if anyway, right? It's almost a placebo effect that happens to you because you're like, oh, I'm doing this. So this means that I'm going in and I'm game ready and I'm ready to
Yeah.
fucking go and let's get it done. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's just all positive.
I felt like it helped. I
It
mean,
does.
I felt, yeah. So good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff. So how
Great.
was your week? How was your week?
Fucking awful. No, I'm kidding. It was great.
Okay, get information.
No, it was fine. It was very normal. Nothing that really stands out. There weren't any volleyball tournaments or anything. Just the normal, great family kind of day to day stuff. Saw
Mhm.
Dune 2 last Saturday night.
You know what? We're seeing it on Sunday because I hadn't seen Dune 1. And so I watched it this weekend and I was like, yeah, I can see why they
Man,
really like this kid. He's impressive. Yeah.
I mean, this kid meaning Timothy Chalamet, or this kid
Yeah.
meaning the director, because the director is a visionary. I mean, he's amazing. The
I'm
whole
talking about Timothy
Timothy
Chalamet.
Chalamet. Chalamet's
Yeah.
fucking awesome. He's the future.
Yeah. And I really like, I can't remember the the actor who played his mother, what her name is, but I
Rebecca
really,
Ferguson. Rebecca
yeah,
Ferguson's incredible.
she's
And part
incredible.
2 is one of the best sci-fi movies that I've ever seen. It was just so well done.
Mm.
And it's a spectacle of art visually, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
then the acting performances that the director gets out of it, the power of the storytelling. Because I loved, Frank Herbert in the book. I mean, everything like from years ago when I was in high school, I think I read Dune. And I
Yeah,
really
I
didn't.
never read
Yeah,
Dune.
yeah,
I don't really know, I don't even remember watching the movie back in the day. Like I just never was into it. And
yeah.
so anyway, it was really great. And it was so unexpected. Like when he's telling his dad in the first one, where he's like, I don't know if I want to do this. And then of course you expect the dad to be like, you're doing it. I had to do it. Blah, blah, blah. But he's like, well, you're enough. Whatever you
Yeah.
want to do, you're enough. And I just feel like that's like,
See, a lot
that's
of it, and right there, it falls into the classic, like Joseph Campbell hero's journey, right? Are you going to answer the call? Are you this reluctant Messiah, which he plays throughout,
mm-hmm.
throughout, where he's denied by some, he's revered by others, and Javier Bardem really steps into the
Oh,
limelight.
I love Javier Bardem. I mean,
Yeah,
he's one of my, yeah.
and he's great in this. He's very funny in this, and not in a way that you would expect.
Hmm.
It's not like he's going for the laugh. Um,
Yeah.
it's really It's really
Well,
great.
I'm gonna go see it on
Yeah.
Sunday. So
I love me some Zendaya. I'm not gonna lie. All right. She was great in it. She looked fine as hell too. Um,
Easy now,
no,
Ty.
I'm telling you, it was really, really terrific film. So I recommend everybody, not that they need my recommendation. I think everybody's already seeing it. It had a great opening weekend worldwide. It's doing really well. So yeah. But let's get to this.
Okay, sounds good.
Let's get to this zombie hunter. Fucking whack job. Wow.
Right.
Whoa.
Right.
I mean, if I'm a Phoenix cop back then, I feel I got some egg on my face, right? Let this guy run around for that long. Like, talk about not even hiding in plain sight. He had a fucking neon sign pointing at him, right?
Absolutely.
And yes, he was in the file, but how do you miss that guy in the file? Like, how do you miss an eyewitness said, I saw my roommate with that child's bodysuit? Like, how do you miss? I get it. There's 800 people in the file, but come on.
I mean, I asked him, I'm like, how, it's one of those situations where it's like, he's new to the case, he wants to be, he doesn't want to throw anyone under the bus, but I'm sure he was like, how did we miss this?
Yeah.
And I think maybe the one thing if you look at what he looks like back then, they probably were like, there's no way this kid, because he was only like 19 and he was scrawny and nerdy, it's kind of like the Gary Ridgway effect. Like, there's no way this kid could do this. He was working at St. Vincent de Paul, and
I don't know what that is. What's St. Vincent de Paul?
It's like a charity shop.
Gotcha.
Like So I just don't think that they saw him. But then if you look at what he did when he was a juvenile, I mean, it's like, it's right there,
right? He that attack from the woman on the bus was a dress rehearsal.
Oh, absolutely.
For what he was going to do. So, and I don't really buy that. And if it's true, then it was just, I would imagine, bad policing. I mean, it's one thing to come up with a profile, but to be so strict, to so strictly adhere to a specific, we're looking for a John Rambo type of military badass, and you discount everything else. That, I mean, I'm not a cop. I know they have a really hard job, but that seems like not good policing.
I think you're going up against, the confirmation bias, which we've talked about so many times, and the unconscious bias.
Yeah.
Like, they're just thinking there's no way that this kid could have done. I mean, I have no idea if this is what they're thinking, but I could imagine that when you would see someone like that and you saw what they did, and it's hard to imagine a 19-year-old doing that, and yet he did. Because he moved them around and, heavy and he just, but I mean, like Gary Ridgway, he had a way that he did it where it was like, and I'm not going to go into that, but right now, but it's like, he had a way to maneuver. And so it is possible,
Did you ever watch not Ghostbusters? I'm sorry. Mythbusters. Did you ever watch Mythbusters?
Yeah, I have watched that. Yeah.
I used to love Mythbusters.
You know what? I watched it with my daughter and I loved it too.
I loved that show. The Asian kid died young. Did you know that?
I did. And then it made me sad. And I don't think I really wanted to watch it anymore.
Sad.
Yeah.
The two everyone on that show was amazing. But so they did this thing one time, and it reminded me of an episode. This episode of Criminal Mischief reminded me of a Mythbusters episode where I forget what the setup was. All I know is that they were trying to prove or disprove, bust or confirm, in the parlance of the show, if a person was able to do something like what we're talking about here, right? Like able to move something heavy a specific distance over rough terrain kind of thing, right? Yeah, and they said like the average human, 200 pounds, let's say, okay? And so they just had a pile of really heavy chain, right? Like big, thick chain in a pile is 200 pounds. And the first thing you had to do was like jump a fence. Then you had to like climb up to the second floor of the structure. And then you had to pick up this 200-pound load and you had to move it down a hallway and get it out a window. Okay. And no one could do it. No one could do it. And everyone's like, this is totally busted. There's absolutely no way this could be done because these are like strong dudes. And this chain was so unruly. Okay. But then they had a forensic biologist come in and say, no. You're not accurately recreating what it's like to move a human body. Okay. They said, get an actual 200-pound ballistics gel dummy and put it there and then watch. And every single person, even the woman, right, who's like, if I can't move the chain, there's no way I'm gonna be able to move this. Like, I'm not saying women are weaker. It's what she was saying. She was saying, there's no way I'll be able to do it. Moved it with ease because there were armpits that you could latch under, right? And there were other points of where you could gain some purchase to move something rather than trying to hold this heavy. I don't even know why they used a pile of chain to begin with. It was really strange. But when you saw that it was a human body and you instinctively knew how to carry something, it was actually much easier than all of them thought. It was almost like the thing didn't even weigh 200 pounds when you were watching it, by judging by how difficult it was in the earlier iteration of the test, right? So that's what I was thinking the whole time I'm listening to this. Where I'm like, it's way too dismissive to think that an adult male, even if he's a scrawny 19-year-old, can't find the leverage and get some momentum going, right? To move a body. It seems super dismissive to me.
Yeah, even when you listen to him in the interview, he just he looked nerdy. He looked like sounded nerdy, like just sounded like, I don't know how he sounded to you, but it's like, it was hard to believe like this guy did this. Like this guy could be anybody.
He sounded scared. He sounded scared to me. He sounded like he knew he was caught to me. Like I'm purposely not going to put any butter on my voice. I'm not going to be aggressive at all. I'm going to be quiet. I'm going to be like, I don't know what you're talking. I was abused and and it was bad. And it, like very like calculated to maintain that idea of there's no way this guy could do this.
I didn't know what was going on, honestly, because I'm thinking, okay, if you did it and but he didn't know what they had. You know what I mean? So he could have been fishing, but he never asked in that first hour, like, what do you have? Like,
what am I doing here? Right.
What am I doing here? I'm not going to just sit here. But then it was like, did he think he was already caught? And then he's kind of setting a trap for himself because he can't go back and rewrite history, and so it's like, I really didn't. But then I thought the detective that was interviewing him, I kind of thought he played it right by just being like kind of plotting and just kind of like, I'm sorry that happened to you. And he just seemed like, I don't know.
Are we to understand that from that first interview, he was never a free man ever again? They arrested him that day?
Yep. Yeah.
Wow.
They were, that was the interrogation after they went and arrested him when the DNA was confirmed. I mean, they had him locked.
So you have to know, don't they have to tell you what you're arrested for before they bring you in?
I mean,
or did they just ask him to come in and talk to us? It seemed very casual at first.
No, because see what Troy had told me is that they arrested him and they brought the daughter in too, and they were interviewing the teenage daughter at the same time as they were interviewing the dad. And so he was not getting out of there, and they had the lock of the DNA, so they could charge him. There was no way they were letting him go once that DNA matched. So
okay, so maybe I misinterpreted what I was listening to, because it felt like, because maybe I watched too much TV. When they arrest someone, you're under arrest for suspicion of double murder. He would just shut up and ask for an attorney, like right away.
You would think so, but
Wow.
I guess he didn't know, because he said when the guy walked in, he was like, "What am I here for?"
They didn't tell him you're under arrest.
Well, no, they
So did
read
it
him
just in an interview.
They read him his Miranda rights.
Oh, they did. Okay.
Yeah, they read him his Miranda rights, and he's like, "Well, what am I doing here?" So I don't know what the actual
right.
charge was to get him to come in.
Yeah.
Or they just went and arrested him, but I don't know what that's a good question, because that's what I was wondering. Like, why wouldn't he just ask for an attorney? Because if he knows, he had to know. But then again, sometimes they pull people in and they have no idea, and it could be something else.
Right.
So he was obviously playing a game too, of trying to figure out, kind of what's up.
So let's talk about his alter ego, or maybe not his alter ego, just the zombie hunter fucking.
Yeah, you've got to
steampunk.
You have got to see this outfit.
I've seen, movie versions or whatever, like I was thinking of like the Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes, like that was all steampunk. that was what the director was going for in those movies, right? As an aesthetic, you know?
Right. You got to see this guy's like the
Yeah.
gas
With the
mask in the
goggles and
middle.
the gas, like the
I mean,
plague
yeah,
gas mask and shit.
it looks so creepy, even before you know what he did.
Yeah.
But now that you know, and then the zombie mobile, the hunt. I mean, it's just like,
Cop car, and he had
what?
a huge, like a gun, a fake gun that
Yeah,
he,
it was like this huge gun, like this, like ooh, he just thought he was just like, yeah, it was
like an
real.
old school gun, like a blunderbuss, where the rifle looks like a trumpet.
No, like one that they would have created in the apocalypse
Oh,
out of
gotcha.
like
Right.
pipes, like,
Steampunk. Yeah. Okay.
welded together and like something that Arnold Schwarzenegger would have used in Predator, that kind of
Wow.
thing. I mean, it just was really over the top and but I was thinking, gosh, what must that have been like for his wife when he's just ramping up like more S&M, more bondage, and then like, hey, I'm going to bring a knife in here and I
Right.
want to carve
I'm gonna
you.
cut you. Yeah.
Like, and then I want to, lick your blood. Like, I mean, wouldn't that just be like, you think you're marrying this mild mannered type dude, and then all of a sudden, like, he starts having these requests, and obviously she was like, I'm out of here, but
Yeah,
it just,
that's strange. You're raising a child together and you move away together and do all like that's a huge like that's not like, hey, honey, I have a new interest. No, that would be more like, all right, I can't hide this part of me anymore. All right, this is
yeah.
actually who I am, and deal with it or bounce. And she's like, okay, fuck off. You only get to cut me once, and I see the look on your face that you're gonna want to do it more, so I'm getting the fuck out of here. Right?
Sorry, but I wouldn't even be cut once. I'm
Yeah.
just like,
Yeah, you'd be cut once.
no,
I'm
no,
kidding.
no.
Oh, no, I'm fucking kidding.
I
But
know you
what
are,
I'm
but I'm just saying, no, not only cutting you. I mean, just imagine that.
no,
Like,
yeah, it's right.
and then I want to lick your blood.
Yeah.
Like that is so. I mean, I
It's
wonder
out of
if
the
people.
norm. Let's not
I
kink
wonder.
shame. Let's not kink shame.
I'm not. I'm
It's
just. I guess my question is, I wonder if that is like people do that. Like
yeah,
I just.
sure.
My
Listen,
mind doesn't work like that.
no, mine doesn't either. But what I'm saying is that I've run into enough people that have vastly different ideas of human sexuality than I do, right?
Mhm.
Where otherwise, every other aspect of their life, I'm like, oh, they like the Yankees like I do, or they're into hot dogs and gummy bears like me. Like that's cool. We could be homeboys. But I'm like, oh, you do what in the bedroom? All right,
Yeah.
that's just where you and I disagree. That's
Mhm.
cool. I'll still go to a ball game with
I'm
you.
just doing it in like an intellectual
Yeah,
conversation, not that I'm shaming anybody or anything. I just am trying to put myself in her position of like what would that be like,
yeah,
and how that, you know, and then he must have done it so much that she didn't believe what he was saying was true, and that's why she didn't go to the police, because I
right.
feel like, huh?
She thought it was like an act, part of his persona.
I guess that's what she said, but that just
Right.
seems like, and I'm not blaming her in any possible way.
They've done studies and it takes about a solid 2 months to create a good habit, which, in the scheme of things, doesn't sound long at all when you consider the long term benefits of whatever it is you're trying to do. For many of us, doesn't it always come down to eating right and stress? For me, they go hand in hand. Because around day 4 to 5, you've had a rough go of it. Maybe your boss is a jerk, your commute stunk, fill in the blank. And then you get home, and you don't want to cook because you didn't go grocery shopping. And even if you had, you don't want any of that stuff. You want a delicious, ooey gooey cheeseburger and fries. That'll make you feel better. But that's the thing. You and me both know it doesn't. So how do you stay on track when the stresses of life get you down and you're busy or tired or meh and you don't feel like cooking? Factor. Factor offers 2-minute meals that are restaurant quality and ready to heat and eat wherever and whenever you are. And you can get as much or as little as you need by choosing your meals every single week, which are delivered right to your door. So quit with the excuses and do something good for yourself. Give Factor's delicious, ready-to-eat meals a try. Every fresh, never frozen meal is chef-crafted and ready to go in just 2 minutes. You'll have over 35 different options to choose from, including Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, and Keto. So what are you waiting for? Get started today and get after your goals. Head to factormeals.com/mischief50. That's MISCHIEF 50. And use code mischief50 to get 50% off. That's code mischief50 at factormeals.com/mischief50 to get 50% off.
It's Wednesday, Adams. I see you're trying to distract yourself from your own banal thoughts. Let me help. Here's a recording thing made of my latest root canal.
Wednesday, Season 2, begins August 6th, only on Netflix.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. Checking off the boxes on your to-do list is a great feeling. And when it comes to checking off coverage, a State Farm agent can help you choose an option that's right for you. Whether you prefer talking in person, on the phone, or using the award-winning app, it's nice knowing you have help finding coverage that best fits your needs. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Eczema isn't always obvious, but it's real. And so is the relief from Ebglyss. After an initial dosing phase, about 4 in 10 people taking Ebglyss achieved itch relief and clear or almost clear skin at 16 weeks. And most of those people maintain skin that's still more clear at 1 year with monthly dosing.
Ebglyss, lebrikizumab LBKZ, a 250 milligram per 2 milliliter injection, is a prescription medicine used to treat adults and children 12 years of age and older who weigh at least 88 pounds or 40 kilograms with moderate to severe eczema, also called atopic dermatitis, that is not well controlled with prescription therapies used on the skin or topicals, or who cannot use topical therapies. Ebglyss can be used with or without topical corticosteroids. Don't use if you're allergic to Ebglyss. Allergic reactions can occur that can be severe. Eye problems can occur. Tell your doctor if you have new or worsening eye problems. You should not receive a live vaccine when treated with Ebglyss. Before starting Ebglyss, tell your doctor if you have a parasitic infection.
Searching for real relief? Ask your doctor about Ebglyss and visit ebglyss.lilly.com or call 1-800-LILY-RX or 1-800-545-5979.
Well, no. What did that cop say about the Gilgo, that awesome New York detective? Where he's like, the wife knew. She totally knew. And I went, yeah, is that criminal? Well, no, it's not criminal, but she knew.
He
right?
knew.
Like,
Right. Yeah.
You know, I don't know. It's strange, but then where that leads me to is this, which was really strange at the end of the episode, is how certain some of these people were about other victims of this guy.
Oh, and how he kept getting away with it.
All right, was my last point. The shit that he got away with. The shit that he got away as a juvenile. You cut him loose. He stabbed a woman, and they're like, he's a kid. Come on, get out of here. What, you give him noogies and say, don't do that shit anymore. You're 18 now. Go be normal.
Not only that, but his own mother is coming to say, look at the evidence
Keep
here.
this kid in jail. Right.
I mean, you
Please
would think.
keep him in jail. Here's evidence against my own son that he shouldn't be among people in society. And they're like, what can they do, right? So then at 19, he butchers 2 women. That's what happens, okay? And then maybe more. And then he keeps slipping through the cracks, right? He was, you used the word exonerated. He wasn't exonerated, right? He was acquitted, right? There's kind of a difference there. Either way, they didn't get a DNA sample from him because he wasn't convicted, you know?
Yeah.
There wasn't like exculpatory evidence. It went to a jury verdict.
Yeah, but I think that there's different ways where you can, they can say, yeah. I mean, that's an interesting point. I think there is a way that he could be exonerated if they're like, but you're right. Okay, and he was acquitted, so he did go to trial. The jury found him not guilty, and he didn't have the DNA sample. And imagine how that woman felt. Like, hey, I'm telling you, I wasn't robbing this guy.
How does that jury feel now? Because if he's convicted of that, they get a DNA sample. You get the CODIS match right away, like right away. They was sitting in the CODIS database, just waiting, like a Tinder date, waiting for someone to swipe right on this fucking DNA sample. And it was delayed for so long. It was like right fucking there.
Yeah.
Oh,
and the profile was right. The profile was right. He did move to another state because the profile was like, there's no way that he's going to be able to stop. And on top of that, they said the people at the VDOC Society was like, he will get into cannibalism. That's what they had kind of prophesied about the whole thing. And that's why, like, the blood licking and like all that stuff, it's like, they weren't wrong. I mean, it feels like that it's headed in that direction when you do that, right?
Oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man.
But I do think that just shows, that proves the point that it wasn't just the the detectives, because I think that the original detectives, they really wanted to solve the case. I mean, of course, you've got this, they believe they have this madman running around, and and they want to get justice for these victims. And I think it was so overwhelming. It was a time when, I'm not making excuses or anything. I'm just saying, like, look at the other jurisdictions that he got away with stuff too. And I think that it was based on maybe how he looked, that they just didn't, he probably had a way of acting like, there's no way this kid could do this,
Right. Okay. And now the pushback to that would be, considering all of the other evidence that came along with, although he didn't physically match the description, the exact attack from the woman on the bus, stabbed in the back. Okay. That right there. The note from his mom, right? His own fucking diary pages, like from his mom. That right there. The eyewitness that said, I saw him, the same guy that his mother said should stay in jail, the same guy that stabbed a woman in the back with a big fucking knife. I saw that guy with that kid's bodysuit.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck if it's a 10-year-old, right? I'm arresting that person just because of all of this other stuff. And then let's figure it out.
No, I agreed. Believe me, I'm not making excuses for them.
Yeah.
I'm trying to understand why that didn't happen.
Yeah,
Because
I don't know.
Like, I mean, and then when the guy is, going through the file, when Troy is reading it, I mean, the way that he was describing it was just like, this is unreal. This has to be our guy. How did they not see? He didn't say, how did they not see it?
But he was saying it. He was thinking it.
Yeah,
he didn't say it. He's a very respectful, super above board guy. He's not going to throw anybody under the bus. But the cop in him was saying, what the fuck?
Oh,
right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, it's like, what is he doing with a child's suit? And I think that was his roommate who called in a tip.
It was his roommate.
Yeah. And so and then when he was doing the interview, he's still friends with that guy, according to him. And so if it's the same guy, so it's like, why would you still hang out with a guy that you thought could be, this serial killer?
Yeah.
And maybe he thought, oh, well, I was wrong. Maybe there's no way he could do it, or that they vetted him, or I don't know. It just seemed like, wow, if he wouldn't have left that DNA, they would have never caught him.
It's so weird. You say, like, you don't know, like, why do you still want to be friends with a guy? Like, there are times when, in New York, if you see something, say something, right? Like, trying to get people to not think to not give people the benefit of the doubt and all that, right? And I'm a benefit of the doubt guy, right? I'm like, maybe he's just having a bad day or whatever, whatever. And and after 9/11, I'd been going to the YMCA in Hollywood for years, and I play volleyball there, and there were a couple of Saudi Arabian guys that were on the team, cool dudes, played with them for a couple of years. Right after 9/11, they vanished, right? And another guy on the team was like, "There's something wrong with those guys. I'm calling the FBI." I'm like, "No, you're fucking not. What are you talking about? They probably left because of guys like you are going to go persecute them just because they happen to be Saudis and 9/11 happened and all that." He goes, "No. I hung out with them a lot when you didn't. Like, we'd go drinking and stuff, and they always had like super nice cars." I'm like, "So they have money. Saudi Arabians have a lot of oil. I don't know." Like, I'm making all these excuses, and it turns out that they were fucking bad guys. And my buddy's tip to the FBI caught these guys. I mean, it was like a whole, like, actual thing.
I think the only thing that, like, changes it from racial profiling and all that is because he partied with them where you hadn't.
Right.
And so, he had been around them and had seen and heard, and that's where that,
but you know what? I think, honestly, because I'm still friends with the guy that turned him in. If you talk to him, he'll probably admit there was a proponent of racial profiling involved in it.
Mm-hmm.
He was from New York. He was really pissed off, like all of us were at 9/11, but specifically, someone raised in Manhattan, was like, fuck, like really, really angry. But I was the check against that for him. Okay. And still, like, now to your point, the other, it made him think a little bit deeper. Like, I've gone out with these guys where you haven't, and something's going on. And listen, I don't know where those two dudes are now. They're probably at Gitmo somewhere in like a little cell. Who knows? Like, I don't know. But something went down. But anyway, so like, I get it. What I'm saying is that the opposite seemed to have happened here, right? There was a mountain of evidence. And
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it doesn't even have to be a mountain of evidence. There was a specificity of evidence that matched, that fucking mirrored the events of a perpetrator that they were looking for. Shit that this guy had already done in his life. And they're like, he's too skinny.
Yeah, because then my thought process was like, well, maybe the plan wasn't in there and they didn't know because his juvie records were sealed and they would have had to do a couple more steps. But it's like, no, it was in there.
Right.
It was in there. It was all in there. So I don't know. I don't know why they didn't, what happened there, but
how sealed are juvenile records? Do you have any?
I don't.
When they say they're sealed, like,
yeah. I mean, as a journalist, when I've made public disclosure requests, that's part of the things that they do is redact the names of, juveniles and stuff. So I know they do do that. But I think that depending on, if you're the law, you can get those unsealed. I don't know what the protocol is, but
right, because it's
not
not like
around everything.
I'm sorry.
I'm sure if you have power, there's a way around everything.
Right. So they're not like really sealed. They don't like destroy them so there's no record of it at all. Like, let's say, for example, like a podcast co-host of yours, all right, got in a scrape when he was 17, all right, and took a charge for, like, I don't know, like a bar fight or something. I don't know. I'm spitballing here.
I get it. You're just like, whatever.
Just talking, just making stuff up. And they're told, don't worry, that record is sealed, right? Like, I'm just wondering how sealed actually is that record.
We'll try to get it. Oh, I mean, if this was real, I mean, you could try to get it.
You're talking about me? No, I'm not talking about myself. I'm saying, like,
right. I get it. I mean,
I heard of it.
Hypothetically, that would be kind of interesting.
It would be. It would be really, really interesting to see how difficult it would be to unseal that. Like, for example, now I'm talking seriously with regard to this case. Like, if someone, say that wasn't known, his attack to other women on the bus, okay, but now they have him, and they think he's good for these fucking serial killings, okay. I hope it would be easier for them to say, oh wait, when I type in his name, I see a sealed juvenile record. I need to know if that's violent against a woman, because that's very germane to the case that we're working right now. I think that would be, they'd be able to do that, get a judge to say, yeah, go check it out. Like, it would be like a judge's order, I'm sure, right? You'd have to have really, really good cause to unseal a juvenile record, is what I'm getting at.
I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right. I think they'd have to, as you said, get a judge to do it. I mean, if you look at the TV shows, as just an example, that there's always that protocol to go through, so I'm sure that's how it is. But I don't know. But it was already in the file. He already knew about it when he went into that interrogation. That cop knew everything about him.
Yeah, everything. Because, we ran into that. We ran into that on the Tommy Sullivan case from Devil Within season 1, trying to get Tommy's juvie record. And we couldn't get anything on that. And
wait,
then
I thought that he had a juvie record? I thought that he was like an altar boy, and then...
No, the actual murder of his mom gave him a juvenile record because he was 14. Okay.
I know, so he was dead.
Yeah, but that became a juvenile police report. And the fact that he was 14, it was instantly sealed. Okay. Even though he was dead, and even though his mom was dead, and his dad bounced and all that, and like no one knew anything. So
that could have been a way for them to seal it so nobody could get it.
That's what the production company that's working on the documentary figured out. And they went down and they petitioned to get it, and they were granted permission to see it. And then they told them that they lost it, that it's gone.
That what?
That it's gone. They're like the Morristown, like
Oh my gosh, that would drive me
yeah,
insane.
the Morristown
Where is
court.
my pitchfork and torch?
The Morristown court said, "Oh, we were told that it never left the local municipality where the crime occurred. Just go to their evidence locker at the municipal building police station." So we go there, and they come out with the box, and it's empty. They're like, "No, there's no evidence from it." And here, there's a note saying it was all sent to Morristown. Blah, blah. So it was, they said they had it. They said that they had it, and it's gone.
Well,
And
this is like a bureaucratic nightmare.
Yeah, but the conspiracy theorist in one of the producers was like, I was looking at the county clerk who was in charge of this, and she looked right at me, Brandon. She looked right at me, and she said, "In my 30 years here, I've never had evidence just disappear."
I wish she had that on tape.
I know, right?
She had it on tape.
It wasn't on tape. It wasn't on tape.
You know what?
But
I bet you it's in those, like, when I listen to your podcast, obviously, and those secret Catholic, like, locked.
in the catacombs somewhere. No, I think the Archdiocese of Newark came in and just fucking burned it all, or it's sitting in the Vatican archives somewhere.
But they don't get rid of anything, so I'm sure it's there somewhere.
Evidence of a 14-year-old possessed by the devil. Right?
I mean, this is the stuff that drives me crazy, but it also excites me when you can't get something and then you have to try to. It's like finding the Ark.
Yeah.
It's like,
and I'm the type of guy where I'm like, all right, if you're going to tell me that, I'm just going to make up a story that I think is really, really cool, right? That you're going to wish you didn't give me the opportunity to think of, right? You should have just given me the stuff and I'd report it honestly. In the absence of that, I'm going to make up something cool,
Well, I wonder what you guys are going to do. That's exciting. I can't wait to.
That becomes part of the story, the missing evidence.
Of course.
A big part of the story.
Course.
What are they hiding?
And that's the thing about, like, going full circle to Mythbusters. How did he kill himself? For anybody who hasn't listened to the first season of Devil Within, please catch up and we'll talk about it, because this kid, how did he kill himself?
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
It doesn't make sense.
And you know what? And it's so funny because they point to two coroner's reports. One of and each of them describe how he could very easily have performed this wound on himself. Okay. But neither of them give any accounting of how he could have done both to himself. One coroner describes how he could have really destroyed his wrist in a suicide attempt. The other one describes how he could have, cut his own throat using both hands. That's it. But by the time he got to his throat, his left hand was completely useless. It was dangling by a tendon, right? So he didn't have both hands. But that's one of the big discrepancies in the case. But anyway, yes, thank you for plugging the show. If you're interested in a bona fide murder mystery,
definitely.
Yeah, that's going on 40 years old. Check out The Devil Within season 1, The Jersey Devil.
Well, you know what? You got your ending. You know what happened. It's not unsolved. You had the detectives. I was actually going. I went on this shoot on Friday, and it was like this 4-hour plus road trip. And so we were just talking about, the filmmaker and I were just going back and forth, and God, I just lost my train of thought. What was I? I'm sorry. I just totally lost it. Oh no, it's gone. I'm sorry. This is so bad. Anyway, it was something related to this, but it's gone. Anyway, I went on a road trip.
And how was it? Yeah, good stuff?
Oh my gosh. It was amazing on so many levels, but it was also, so yes, it was definitely worth it, but we just went through, it's like, I've been everywhere, man. We went through like because we were driving to Yakima. So it was like every kind of it. We went through a place that looked like an, Irish bog. We went through like, snowy mountains. It snowed. I mean, it was just a treacherous journey. But it was definitely worth it. I wish I could remember what I had forgotten, but yeah, it was totally worth it. But it's for the other case that I've been working on. Yeah. So,
well, I can't wait to see the fruits of that trip. I'm glad that you got that out of the way. I know that had been weighing on you for a while. So Good for you.
Yes.
Good for you. All right. Well, this was a really cool two-parter and a really, really bad dude. And
I
and
know what I wanted to say. Hold on.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I know what I wanted to say. And he asked me, the guy that I was going down there with, he's like, well, what kind of shows do you like? What kind of documentaries do you like? And I was like, I like the ones where it's like, it goes unsolved. And then you have these passionate detectives who like give their all and give everything. And then you find out who it is. And so I was just like describing, the cases that, or the shows that I feel are, that are, really make me think and all that. And I think that this case, because of all the layers and because of the detectives that never gave up and all that, it's really sad that it took so long, but it's just like, I'm so glad that they figured it out.
Satisfying. Yeah. I wanted him to admit it. I wanted him to admit to it, which he never really did. Right. He never said, yeah.
I mean, he, I think through his attorneys,
Right.
No, he never said I did it, but he basically, because he said, I don't remember. And that's the biggest cop out.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
And is he still on death row?
Oh yeah. He's on death row for sure.
Are they going to kill him?
Well, it's Arizona.
Arizona kills motherfuckers, don't they? Not like
they
Texas,
do.
but they kill.
And I think, I think that, he'll have his, run of appeals. So it's not going to be anytime soon, but, hopefully he'll at some point, give up the other crimes that he did so there can be, justice for other families, because
he's got that card that he could play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
well, honestly, as much as he deserves to die, I hope he plays that card so the families can get some peace,
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I agree.
Wow. All right. Well, as I was saying, excellent two-parter, very satisfying at the end. And a fucking really weird dude. And I'm not shaming steampunk people, but this guy, oh my gosh, to do it and the balls on him to be just hiding in plain sight like that, and taking pictures with the cops and all. I mean, who?
You got to see that picture. He is cheesing so hard. Wow. And it's like, he is loving this. He is loving the fact that it's like what Troy said, like we're a bunch of idiots. And
they kind of were. They kind of were for a long time.
It's funny because they blurred out the faces of the police officers, and I'm like, why did you do that? I'm like, oh, because that's a huge. Those poor officers where they're like, we didn't know. I mean, how could we know? And now we look like Deedle Dum and Deedle Doop or whatever, right?
Tweedledum. Is that? Listen, I let the poor rendition of Johnny Cash go, but come on. Get your shit together, okay? Get your shit together.
I've been everywhere.
No, listen, put some respect on him. Thank you. Okay. Oh, God. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, listen.
I totally deserve that.
Let's sign off here. Thank you. Great job. I really enjoyed these episodes. Looking forward to what's next. In the meantime, if you enjoyed the episodes as much as I did, head on over to Apple and rate us, review us. Please consider sharing with your friends. And also, if you can support the really great companies that support our show, we're here because of them. And please consider it. In the meantime, Carolyn, again, thank you very much. Anything you'd like to add?
Nope. We'll see you next week.
Yes. Stay safe out there, everybody. Later.
Bye.
From Cloud 10, Criminal Mischief is a pie-in-the-sky production recorded in the beautiful Pacific Northwest. We're produced by Brandon Morgan and myself. Music by Soundstripe. I'm Carolyn Osorio, your writer and host.